direct your post-production, liaising with your editor, and paying attention to the initial script, the storyboard, music, graphics, and the use of appropriate editing techniques. Right. So I'm on Final Cut Pro X at the moment. This is my timeline. As you can see, it's quite hectic. A lot of stuff going on. Where I've been, because I said in the beginning I wanted to focus on sounds. That's the whole reason why I borrowed the Zoom H4 from college, and I've got my own camera, Canon 700D, which is shooting the film. So, right, we'll start from the beginning. I directed it and edited it at all, like the whole thing. Obviously, I have my I always have my blacklist media at the beginning of pretty much every production I do. Obviously, just reimburses the state of who I am. Casual fading, right, for the audio, because I don't normally edit the audio, obviously, that well, right. So I'm more of a cinematic kind of guy, right. I found that pan mode makes it sound differently, to a point where you can change it to be ambience and dialogue were two main ones that I actually used. And then throughout the whole thing I used the letterbox effect, which I had on Final Cut. Could have done it in After Effects, but that's just long. Yeah, did that. I started to layer things where I tested other shots. So I thought, oh no, I don't really like that shot. Shortcut V is to cancel the like block and stop something from playing, and then I just put this shot over the top. Mess around with the sound, always elaborating on the sounds. So, for instance, overlapping the sounds to be ambient was the main thing. I really like the shaky documentary kind of feel of this bit. Always overlapping sounds when I was editing. I just sort of took all the footage really. I stuck to my storyboard like almost perfectly. This was all in the storyboard, and then it's scripted how I wanted it as well. So, as you can see from, if you look at the storyboard on my blog, I've got all pictures of it, so you sort of see the dialogue being used from that. Overlapped. It's all shot in monochrome as well. I didn't put the black and white effect on it, and then I colour corrected it by just crushing the blacks in some of them. Gradually brought the music in.
Pretty much live for the music. You just got to do what you love, I suppose.
Normal fade. I sped up quite a few shots. Don't know, to give faster, better effect. That shot was sped up. Some quick cuts. As you can see, I tested something else by overlapping it. This was a clever shot. Shot this out the back of my car, and then I sped up this bit. That's why I had cut that there. I could have done it gradually by putting some keyframes in. This was a very good shot. I really like this shot. I was trying to. Where I shot it all in monochrome, I wanted to bring it into colour, and I wasn't really sure how to do this. So obviously I've googled it, like trying to teach myself, and it said the best way to do it is literally just change the opacity in or put both of them over each other, and then change the opacity on the top one. So put it from 0 to 100, so it gradually brings that colour in. And then talking about the letterbox effect as well, I put the border size straight up to 10, and you can change the offset as well, which means moving the position of the footage up and down. That's really helpful, because obviously some shots, when you're out there on the field, you've got a proper, I don't know, you look at it as a whole, not through with the letterbox effect kind of thing. So that's where the creative role of a director comes in as well. Always thinking about different shots. As you can see here, where's it gone? There we go. I dipped the sound. And we've gone miles red. Yeah, right, here we go. You can see here we've got all these keyframes. I'm not gonna lie.
Where the party was down.
And you can hear it drop.
So this is where the party was down this road. This is where the night began. The night that was going to change my life forever.
So I've keyframed it. A lot of them keyframes are clipping the peaks. So obviously when you're editing, sound wise, got to keep it between about -12. That's the normal like volume. 12 decibels, and obviously when they're peaking, they're proper reaching, hitting the reds. So a lot of these, there's probably an effect, not an effect, something you can use on here. I think there is like declipper or something, but I ain't got that far yet. I just thought I'd do it this way. It seemed a lot easier at the time. Right, and then I brought the classical music in.
I took a pill for the first time. This was the best moment of my life.
Right, this was a shot that took me quite a while. I was really proud of myself. I'm not very good at After Effects, but this done me proud. Right, I googled it, how to dilate a pupil, and my after, like, it just, I don't know, just looks sick. I done it such an awkward way, right, yeah. So that was the main shot. I colour corrected it a lot to make it look bright. Obviously to be like euphoric, blah blah blah. And oh wait. First of all, right. That was the first shot, this one, underneath. And then this was the other one. I changed the opacity on it, did what I did last time with the monochrome, fading into colour. But I did the colour correction kind of thing. So I wanted to desaturize it. But I did it afterwards, after I'd done all that. I knew I wanted to do the After Effects, and I'd done it. It was really long. Right, that froze on me last time. It said card full, so I had to quickly format it. Yeah, what I did, I exported it, the master file, and that was like 5 gig. And then for some reason, I put it into After Effects, like the whole thing. So I've got like a 5 gig thing running in After Effects, which ain't fun for me when I ain't got no memory on my laptop. So it's lagging out, it's not going well. I ended up losing my After Effects once. I had to do it again. And then basically had to render. I rendered just that point, because obviously you can render just certain sections of your piece. I had to render that. It took fucking ages. That weren't fun. And then I had to smack that. And then when it was rendered, I had to convert it. So it goes into an MOV file. You double click it, and then it starts changing to converting to a MP4. Then you have to resave that. Then smack it on here. Then I had so much memory problems. I was like, oh, long as. Right. Well, anyway, a lot more blending. Sometimes I go for the arch to blend in, the fade, audio fade in. Otherwise, some I just go straight up linear line.
Is that your Yorkie down there?
You're
Yeah.
an idiot. Right, brilliant. That was my third distraction. Anyway, talking about this, wasn't I? The pupil dilating. In After Effects, I googled the whole how to dilate the pupil, and what I'd done was track the rotation from each side of the eye, and then that's how it like tracks with the eye. And then I just duplicate the footage, put a mask around the centre of his pupil, obviously in that shot, and then scale and position it up as it got bigger, and obviously the tracking motion held it in place, and I had to freeze frame that as well after I mask it, then freeze frame it so it is just the centre point. And then moved on to these shots. I was mainly focusing with like looking at the focus, in and out of focus for my shots to give off that effect, the effect I wanted to give off pretty much. I wanted to focus on sound and focus. So for this part of Acid Beth, or the song, I added some echo to it. Brought the Omnius Techno in. Colour corrected some more, fades, keyframes, drop the music.
Starting to feel differently. Not necessarily.
More colour corrections. You can see a lot of keyframes went on here, where I've dipped the music to overlap the speech. Probably some speech I didn't use and a shot I didn't use.
My heart starting to race.
Oh, that was some feedback. I had this shot here was longer, and you saw him speaking this part.
So,
All of a sudden, my heart started to race. I had him actually talking that, but my feedback said don't have that. I thought it was quite cool, so I kept it.
I don't know myself.
Pretty much the same. They're more cinematic. Cinematic, fades. Same again, and that was pretty much it. The After Effects that I'm currently working on
Got a big party tonight.
is this point where the title will come up here, called Fractious, and it will track with that point on that chimney, and it will. I haven't really made my mind up yet what it really wants to do, but I'm not sure. I quite like it as it is, but I think I'm going to add to it. So editing wise, that's pretty much it. You can see my timeline is pretty hectic. A lot of things going on, overlapping, testing stuff, effects, footage. I edited some in Audition. After Effects was used. What else? I don't know. Photoshop was used for some of the photos of photography that I got. And then colour corrections, really. That was pretty much all of it. A lot of things I was testing out, but yeah, that's basically it, really. I think it was successful with the editing wise. I've had a lot of positive feedback.